Hey everyone, I'm your host Cadence, and welcome back to another episode of Project Honesty. This is a podcast by a young adult, for young adults, to acquire unfiltered advice and bold opinions, as well as take deep dives into the issues shaping our world. We'll challenge ideas, explore new perspectives, and have fun while navigating the ups and downs of life. This is Project Honesty, where truth meets curiosity and every conversation matters. If you haven't already, go check out last week's episode, which is current events and quick news. We talk about the US and Iran conflict. We talk about Bill C-5, what that means for Indigenous communities in Canada, as well as the No Kings protest that happened a few weeks back, and just other quick little events that happen in our world. Tune into this episode where we discuss some of the hottest global topics from the last few weeks, discussing what is happening, why it's happening, and what people have to say about them. Global affairs are forever changing, and as a citizen of the world, you do not want to be misinformed or uninformed, because it is your world. Tune in now for more. That is available on Spotify and YouTube, like always. And today, it's just going to be a chill episode. I just came home from backpacking. It was also my birthday about a week ago. So I kind of just delayed this episode a bit because of the chaos right now. And so we're gonna do the very popular Am I the Asshole Reddit threads. I noticed that these episodes do really, really well. I mean, sometimes because they're funny, sometimes because they're controversial. I don't know. But y'all seem to like them, so I'm gonna keep doing them. I have picked, I think, 4 or 5 in here today. 5 little stories for us to read and reply to. Yeah, like always, if you want to stay up to date with episodes and all of that jazz and our posting schedule, I would suggest heading over to our Instagram, which is project_honesty24. We post everything on there. We have thought-provoking Thursdays. A lot of cool stuff goes up on the Instagram, so I highly recommend you check it out. All right, so let's just jump right into it. Am I the asshole for using my cousin's religious beliefs to defend my significant other? For context, I, 20 female, and my boyfriend, 18 male, were recently invited to a grill out to celebrate the holidays. My family is also very religious, and myself and my boyfriend are a part of the LGBTQ+ community. My boyfriend is a trans male, and we both go to extra measures to make him feel more masculine until we can afford the surgeries. The invite to the grill out went over normal. Expectations, time, food, etc. We would also like to mention that this is more about extended family than anyone else. I have an older cousin who we'll call Clayton. Clayton and his wife have 3 kids and were just married this year. During one of the normal banters about our family, picking on each other about who inherited what genes through which family members, Clayton decided to bring up religion, knowing full well about me and my boyfriend. While bringing this up, he preaches that the Christian God is the true God and no sin is greater than another except for blasphemy, and that no person should pass judgment onto another person. Now, normally, this is a fair common occurrence. He normally was fairly open about his beliefs, not in the shove it down your throat way, but he would always ask questions as if he wanted to better understand being trans. My boyfriend during these occurrences believed it to be genuine and was bonding with my cousin very well. For context, my boyfriend's family is extremely religious, and everyone, except for his brother and a few distant relatives, have cut him out. The conversation was calm and normal up until Clayton brought up my boyfriend for really being a girl and continuing to call him a girl and say that he was wrong, saying that what he was a mockery of his God. I told him that he had just been preaching that about no person passing judgment, trying to diffuse the situation, trying to remind him to practice what he preaches. However, the comments kept rolling in. Quote, "Yet instead of disseminating his creation as your relationship has, I've brought new life into the world." Keeping in mind, he had all 3 children out of wedlock. I said that if no sin were greater than another, then his sin was equal to mine. He then called us both ignorant and stated, quote, "He's not going to be okay with you loving a woman, no matter how far into the world and years we go." So in the utter rage that had consumed me at the amount of disrespect and hurt, I stated, "You know that having children out of wedlock is very disrespectful in God's eyes?" Clayton completely lost it and said that I was a disgrace, that neither I were welcome to his home or with his family, stating that I, quote, threatened his children, when all I really did was turn the table so he could see it from my perspective. Am I the asshole? Did I overstep? Did I come off as threatening, or did he? No. Because you basically called him out on his bullshit. Like, you said it yourself. You practice what you preach. If no sin is greater than another, then, well, these sins are equal, right? Like, you gave yourself the answer. You're not an asshole because you gave yourself the answer. We've seen this so many times in media with things, especially like people like Charlie Kirk, and who are the other, I'm trying to remember the names. I'm not going to try to remember anymore. But we see this all the time where you use that religious context and examples against that person bringing it up to pass judgment, and then they like flip out. This is a perfect example of that. And you know what? It wasn't threatening because you literally just said, okay, here you go. This is what you're talking about. Whatever. And then he just chose to disagree. Not your problem. So no, you were not the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my family that if they don't like the way something is, they can take care of it themselves? I am married and have 3 kids. All are teens. My husband and I both work, and my kids are in school and do sports or clubs after school. I recently hit a ceiling in my field, and in order to continue to grow professionally, I had to get a graduate degree. So I started my master's degree. In the past, I usually did most of the chores. My husband typically does the, quote, man chores. My kids have some of their own chores, like doing their own laundry, taking turns sweeping and vacuuming, cleaning their own bathrooms, etc. I did a majority of the rest and all of the cooking. I'm a year into my degree. At the start, I was keeping up with the chores and did as I did before, but it quickly wasn't possible. I asked for help and was told everything is fine, you're being too picky, but over time, my family seems to be getting fed up. They've been complaining about things a lot lately, from eating frozen meals, and in brackets it says, I make them myself in a large batch and freeze them for later, to the floors having stains. If you cleaned up spills, they wouldn't be there. The stairs have dust and pet fur on them, and if they bring it up, I tell them they are capable of handling it, but then they just walk away and it doesn't get done. I'm doing what I can, but between work, school, and everything else at home, it can't all be done. We aren't living in a squalor. I just can't get to the finer details like I could before. Yesterday, my husband came to me while I was doing my homework and said the shower curtain liner in our bathroom was moldy. This pushed me over the edge. I had my family come into the living room and told them that if they don't like how something is, they have able bodies and can deal with it themselves. That they have the skills to clean. I just have been taking care of so much they didn't see. Now I need them to step up. That they don't like something, they need to step up and take care of it. And how I also plan to redistribute chores. My kids were arguing that they shouldn't have to do more, that they're in school and busy afterwards. I told them that I don't care. I'm busy too. And I can't do it all. That need to step up or shut up in nicer terms. That night, my husband told me I was too harsh and need to lighten up. He says I was rude and basically telling them their feelings don't matter and that I need to lay off of them. I told him the message wasn't only for the kids, it was for him too. He needs to step up. But afterwards, I started to doubt myself and felt too harsh. No one is really talking to me right now. I'm worrying now I was too harsh. I did change up the status quo in the house for my own personal reasons. So am I the asshole for telling them that if they see something they don't like, they need to step up and take care of it and not complain about it? No, you are not the asshole. Moms already do so much. They, majority of the time in most situations, hold entire households together. So sometimes when a mother wants to go on a personal endeavor and that challenges her, but that's something she needs to advance her career, something that she loves, that she's passionate about, she wants to take the time to do that. And the fact that her husband, first of all, is like, why are you being so like this? Dude, your wife is being a mom, a student, and an employee all at the same time. you can help out a little bit more than you used to. Okay. Like, also, with the kids part, they're teenagers. I'm a teenager. Like, just do it. I don't know. Like, I'm used to my mom traveling for work a lot, so typically, like, I'm in the house by myself sometimes. And so, like, I've learned to be sustainable in that way when I need to be. But it's like, guys, do they not see that their mom's working incredibly hard and needs somebody to kind of be there to pick up the stuff that she can't pick up right away? Because to me, I'd be like, oh, are you guys fucking serious? Like, that's where my brain goes. But no, you're not an asshole. Your family is literally just lazy, but they're also not as appreciative of you as they could be. Because you clearly do a lot for the house. And your team, your family, is kind of supposed to pick up the slack when you can't. You know what I mean? So no, you're not an asshole. Okay, next one. Am I the asshole for not letting my niece sew me a dress for a big career moment because she doesn't do a good job? I love my niece, and I support her creative expression. I told her that she could make me a dress for running around the house, running errands, hanging out, etc. I'm happy to wear something she's made at times where it's appropriate. I've worn the acrylic scarf she crocheted me for a few years now, and it's not because it looks good. She uses YouTube and TikTok tutorials, so she doesn't know how to work off patterns, make tailoring adjustments, choose the right fabric, so on and so on. On TikTok and other social media spaces, the, quote, cool thing to do is announce that you've made your garment from a ratty thrifted sheet using an old pair of shorts you had lying around. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. But when she doesn't take the time to do things like pressing or finishing steams, trimming or sewing in ends, etc., when I've suggested it to her, she said it's more authentic the way she does it. She begged me to do an outfit for an event I have coming up where I'll be on stage. I tried to let her down gently and said that I had a dress being tailored as we speak. She said I could wear that one to something else, but that I should wear something she made because it would be special and a bonding experience for us. Everyone in my family is obsessed with bonding experiences. Everything has to be a bonding experience between the adults and kids. It's exhausting. I reiterated no, saying, no, I don't want you to make me anything. Her mom, my sister-in-law, is telling me that I care way too much about my appearance and my image. This is an event related to my career. The last thing I need to do is walk up on a stage in something that doesn't fit or looks like it was made with a sheet. Especially because I'm plus-sized, how I look is judged more harshly. My sister-in-law complaining about me being superficial is not new. I dared to buy one designer bag for myself, and she did the whole thing you see on Reels, the whole stupid. I would just thrift a bag and put the rest of my money in the bag bit. I was briefly engaged. She would not shut up about how I supposedly wanted a wedding dress, not a marriage, because I dared to pick out my own decor and not just use whatever she could scrounge up on Marketplace or get for sale at the craft store. My career is the most important thing in the world to me right now. Obviously for my sister-in-law, her child is the most important thing in the world to her. But am I correct to put my career ahead of her child's feelings, or do my values automatically make me an asshole? No. Like, okay. This is obviously a professional event that you have to do. You're on a stage. This is a really important career moment. Kind of like the last story we just read about, like, women valuing their careers. You don't have to wear a handmade dress made by your niece. I promise. It doesn't make you an asshole. I swear. As a niece, that would not offend me, because what the hell? No. You don't. Yeah, no. You're not an asshole. And also, like, yeah, speaking about your sister-in-law, like, commenting about a wedding, Well, usually weddings are expensive for a reason. If you're not, like, there's some people that do their weddings really thrifty that are like, let's do mason jars and random plates on the table. I think that's a pretty cool idea. But there's some people that are not into that are like, no, I want the expensive, the whole nine, whatever. And they're allowed to do that because it's their wedding. Oh my God. But, you know, like, as you say, your career is the most important thing in the world to you right now. So make that a priority. Forget about the child's feelings. She'll forget about it in like 4 years. It's okay. She'll forget about it eventually. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You're not an asshole. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter her girlfriend might be a gold digger? I, 59 male, have a daughter who we will call J, 31 female, who has recently started dating someone who I'll call Emily, 21 female. Jay and Emily have been dating ever since August of last year. I have always been protective of my daughter, especially since my wife died when Jay was 9, so I have only acted on my own instincts and feelings for this. I have only my daughter's best interest in mind. I met Emily 2 days ago via dinner. Sorry, what? You could have just said at dinner. At my daughter's apartment. I was slightly upset that she hadn't introduced me to her earlier, but I kept my feelings to myself. The problems came up when I found out about her age. I'm not one to judge harshly due to age gaps. I myself am engaged to someone who is many years younger than me. But then I found out Emily barely had a salary above minimum wage. Jay is a highly successful doctor who makes even more than I do, owns a business, while Emily is a high school dropout who barely makes enough to afford basic groceries. I was nice to Emily for the rest of dinner, and she left on her broken down motorcycle. I asked my daughter if Emily ever asked her for money. Jay said she did sometimes, but only for groceries, since they have lived together ever since December of last year. Something I also disagreed with, but didn't mention. I brought up my concerns about Emily being a gold digger. I essentially told Jay that her girlfriend should get a better job and go back to college, and that she should find someone better. She got upset and tried to defend Emily, but I kept reaffirming my points that she was too young, she kept asking for money, and that she couldn't even afford a nice car. Hello? We'll get to that in a second. Jay then brought up my fiance and how I pay for his things too. I told her it was different since we're engaged, and she called me an asshole and stormed out of my house and left. I have tried calling her, but she hasn't responded yet. I think I should have gone about it better, especially since we've had a strange relationship for years. But I'm only looking out for her. My fiance stated that I was being too harsh and rude and suggested a second opinion, so here I am. Well, here you are on Reddit. Okay, so there was one part in here that I want to extract really quickly, is that he kept reaffirming the fact that they shouldn't be together. Dude, that is not the way to go about that. Your daughter is clearly in love. And if you were so true to your points of looking out for her and doing all this, and, you know, you would also look out for her heart too. Right? You would look out for her heart, and you would hope that she finds someone she loves, that she wants to spend the rest of her life with, that she wants to move in with. And the age gap thing, you know what? I think age gaps are weird, but it's fine. Like, I don't give a shit. It doesn't affect me if other people do it. So their 10-year age gap, oh well, that's their thing. It's not my thing. That's their thing. Cool. They can go do that. But then also, like, her girlfriend is so young. She's 21. She's still exploring the world. She might not know what she wants to do with her life yet, and I think that should be normalized for 21-year-olds that have no fucking idea what they want to do yet. And also, there's a little part in here that said she couldn't even afford a nice car. Most people in this economy at 21 years old can't afford a nice car. A lot of people at 31 still can't afford a nice car. So that's a really unrealistic expectation that, like, logistically won't work out. and you're putting that as your basis of judgment? I don't know. I don't understand that. That, like, she couldn't even afford a nice car. What? Like, the motorcycle might be her only fucking mode of transportation. Why do you care? Wait, hold on. Zoom out. Why does her dad care if her girlfriend has a car, period? Like, what? I don't know. You know what? I think this dad's a little bit of an asshole. Yeah. Just a little bit of an asshole, that's for sure. Asshole because of the unrealistic expectations he's pushing on his daughter for things that don't exactly matter. And then the last one we have is, am I the asshole for telling my husband no? Great title. The title caught me on this one. I, 30 male, am married to my husband, Michael, 30 male. We both met in college, moved a few years ago, and got married recently. A little backstory. Michael grew up in the conservative Bible Belt with an older brother, John, and a younger sister, Chelsea. She's 17. So, Michael's parents are totally 100% accepted him for being gay. Not. His parents were livid, and he moved far away from them as possible and has kept minimal contact except to keep up with his sister. Right onto the story. I work as a CNA. I don't know what that means. Oh, it's something nurse, I think. And I work long hour night shifts. Michael works part-time for right now, as he was let go in 2020 during the pandemic. I come home from a long night of work to find Chelsea sitting on our couch with a cup of tea, and Michael sitting across from her. I ask her what she's doing here, and she says she's supposed to be 3 states away. She says, my parents kicked me out. I ask her why, and she says because she's pregnant. She got knocked up by some head honcho quarterback, and he wants nothing to do with the baby. And her parents' plan for her was to either wait 2 months till she turns 18 and then get married to her piss poor baby daddy, and Chelsea didn't want to do that, so they kicked her out. Michael looked solemn and explaining everything. He was like, everything, like he was coming up with a plan. He pulled me aside and said, we should raise the baby. I told him absolutely not, because 1, we can't raise a baby, and 2, I don't want children. They aren't my cup of tea. Now, Michael is upset because he wants to help his sister out. Chelsea doesn't really feel upset, but I'm not sure. She's at least asking if she can stay with us a while until she gets her own place, which I don't mind. Am I the asshole? No. You don't have to raise kids that aren't yours. That's just like a little basic thing. If you don't want a kid, don't get a kid. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. I do admire, though, how Michael really wants to take care of his sister and is trying to find solutions and ideas for his sister, considering the fact that he's faced his parents being like dickheads to him, so he also doesn't want to put his sister through that. And I think that's pretty admirable to like want to help your sister in that way. And yeah, you're not an asshole for like the I don't want a kid part, because you don't need the want to have a kid. If you don't want a kid, don't get the kid. And honestly, like in those situations too, it's like if you really don't want a kid and you have a kid, it's probably gonna end up worse for that child. So you are not the asshole. So this episode was great. Little am I the asshole thing. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Project Honesty. You can check us out on our social medias. Our Instagram is project_honesty24. Our TikTok is project.honesty, and our website is linked in our Instagram bio. We are also available for listening on Spotify and YouTube, and hopefully more platforms coming soon. If you enjoy listening to Project Honesty, share us with friends and family, and you can direct them to the Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, website, or TikTok to help them learn more. Subscribe, follow, and click the bell icon for updates when I post, and remember, the more listeners, the bigger the family.